Have you ever had a moment that completely changed your life in the blink of an eye? That's what happened to me. One second, I was making what I thought was a harmless joke, and the next, well, if you stay until the end, you'll see how a single sentence turned my world upside down in the best possible way. If this story resonates with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more of my journey as we navigate this unexpected twist of fate together. It was a Tuesday evening when everything changed. The kind of ordinary weekday that usually blends into all the others. Wake up, get Emma ready for school, work, pick up Emma, dinner, bedtime routine, collapse on the couch, repeat. But this particular Tuesday refused to be forgotten. I'd known Olivia Harper for almost 15 years. We met during college orientation when she spilled coffee all over my registration papers and spent the next 10 minutes frantically dabbing at them with napkins while apologizing profusely. I remember thinking she was cute, with her flustered expression and honey brown eyes that seemed too big for her face. But life had other plans for us back then. We became friends, best friends, but never crossed that line. When Emma's mother left us 4 years ago, Olivia was there. She showed up to my door with takeout and a determined look on her face. "James Wilson, you are not going through this alone," she announced, pushing past me into the apartment. She helped me figure out how to be a single dad to a devastated 3-year-old girl. She taught me how to braid hair, helped me navigate the complicated world of children's clothing sizes, and never once made me feel like I was failing, even when I felt like I was drowning. That Tuesday, Olivia had come over to help Emma with a science project. My daughter adored her Auntie Liv, and the feeling was mutual. I was in the kitchen making dinner while they sat at the dining table constructing what appeared to be a solar system made primarily of styrofoam balls and glitter. "Dad, Auntie Liv says Pluto isn't a planet anymore. Tell her she's wrong," Emma called out. Her 7-year-old indignation made me smile. "Sorry, kiddo, but Auntie Liv is right on this one," I replied, stirring the pasta sauce. "See, your dad agrees with me because I'm always right," Olivia said with a wink in my direction. "Always right? What about the time you insisted that shortcut to the beach would only take 20 minutes and we ended up hiking for 3 hours?" I challenged. "We got there eventually, didn't we?" she grinned, dabbing a spot of blue paint onto Emma's nose, making her giggle. I watched them together. This woman who had no obligation to us, but who had woven herself so completely into the fabric of our lives that I couldn't imagine a world without her. The way Emma looked at her with complete adoration, the easy way Olivia handled my daughter's questions and moods, it hit me then how much we had come to depend on her presence. "You know, you should just marry us and make this official," I said casually, the words slipping out before I could think them through. It was meant as a joke, the kind of offhand comment friends make to each other after years of comfortable companionship. The room went silent. Emma looked up from her Neptune, eyes wide with interest. Olivia froze, paintbrush suspended in midair, a drop of blue paint falling onto the newspaper-covered table. When she finally looked at me, something in her expression made my heart skip. "I thought you'd never ask," she said softly. I laughed, assuming she was playing along with the joke. "Right? We'd make a great team." But she didn't laugh. Instead, she set down the paintbrush carefully and said, "Emma, sweetie, could you go wash your hands? I think there's paint all over them." My daughter looked between us, clearly sensing something important was happening. "But we're not done with—" "5 minutes, Em, please." Olivia's voice was gentle but firm. Once Emma had reluctantly trudged to the bathroom, Olivia turned to me. "Did you mean that, James?" "Mean what?" I asked, suddenly aware that we were having 2 different conversations. "Marrying me." I felt my face flush. "I was just joking around, because you're here all the time anyway, and Emma adores you, and—" "I see," she interrupted, her expression shuddering closed. "Of course, just a joke." Something in her tone made me pause. We'd been friends for so long that I could read the subtle shifts in her mood, and right now, something was definitely off. "Liv, what's going on?" She stood up, brushing glitter from her jeans with more attention than the task required. "Nothing. It's fine. I just misunderstood."
But it wasn't fine. I could see that clearly. And suddenly, like a veil lifting, I saw something else too. All the moments over the years when Olivia had been there, not just as a friend, but as something more. The way she remembered how I took my coffee, the birthday gifts that were always exactly what I needed but never mentioned wanting, the late-night phone calls when Emma was sick and I was panicking, the way she looked at me when she thought I wasn't paying attention. "How long?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She didn't pretend not to understand. "Since that road trip to Colorado, junior year." 15 years. She had been in love with me for 15 years, and I had been too blind to see it. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" She gave a small, sad smile. "You were with Rachel, and then you were heartbroken, and then you were a new father, and then you were a single father. There was never a right time." I moved closer to her, my mind racing through 1,000 memories, reinterpreting them with this new knowledge. "And now?" I asked. "Now you're making jokes about marrying me," she said, a hint of bitterness in her voice. "What if it wasn't a joke?" The words surprised me as much as they seemed to surprise her. Her eyes snapped to mine. Don't say that unless you mean it." The sound of the bathroom door opening broke the moment. Emma bounded back into the room, hands dripping because she never remembered to dry them properly. "All clean. Can we finish the planets now?" Olivia stepped back, composing herself with visible effort. "Absolutely. We still have Uranus to paint." The rest of the evening passed in a strange limbo. We completed the solar system, ate dinner, and put Emma to bed as if nothing had happened, but everything had changed, and we both knew it. After tucking Emma in, I found Olivia in the living room, gathering her things to leave. "Stay," I said. "Please, we need to talk about this." She hesitated, then set her bag down. "I'm not sure what there is to say." I gestured for her to sit on the couch, and I took the spot next to her, turning to face her fully. "I think I've been an idiot." That earned me a small smile. "Well, that's not news." "I'm serious, Liv. When you said, 'I thought you'd never ask,' something clicked, like I'd been waiting to hear those words without even knowing it." She looked skeptical. "James, you can't just suddenly decide you have feelings for me because you found out I have feelings for you. That's not how it works." "That's not what's happening," I insisted. "I'm not suddenly deciding anything. I'm finally recognizing what's been there all along." I reached for her hand, relieved when she didn't pull away. "Do you remember last Christmas when you got Emma that telescope she wanted, and we all went up to the roof to look at the stars?" She nodded. "I remember looking over at you with the starlight on your face and Emma between us and thinking that I'd never felt more complete. I told myself it was because we were like family, but that wasn't it. It was because I was in love with you and I was too scared to admit it." Her eyes widened. "James, let me finish. I've been in love with you for years, Liv. But after Rachel left, I convinced myself I couldn't trust my judgment, and I couldn't risk losing you if things went wrong. You were too important to Emma, to me." Tears welled in her eyes. "So what are you saying?" "I'm saying that when I asked you to marry us, part of me wasn't joking at all. And when you said, 'I thought you'd never ask,' it felt right, like the universe was finally putting things in the correct order." She was quiet for a long moment, studying my face as if looking for any sign of uncertainty. "This is crazy," she finally said. "We've never even dated." I laughed. "Liv, we've been dating for 4 years. We just didn't call it that." "What about Emma?" she asked, her voice serious. "She's already lost one mother figure. If this doesn't work—" "It will work," I interrupted, "because it's already working. You love her and she loves you, and I love you both so much it terrifies me." A tear slipped down her cheek, and I reached up to brush it away. "I'm not proposing for real tonight," I said softly. "That deserves to be done properly, with a ring and maybe without glitter in my hair. But I am asking if you'll give us a chance, if you'll let me take you on a real date, where we both acknowledge what this is." She laughed through her tears. A date? After 15 years? Better late than never? She leaned forward then, pressing her forehead against mine. You're sure about this? Because if you change your mind... I silenced her with a kiss, gentle and questioning at first, then deeper as she responded. When we finally pulled apart, we were both breathless. I've never been more sure of anything, I whispered. The next morning, I woke up to find Olivia in the kitchen, making pancakes with Emma. They hadn't noticed me yet, and I took a moment to watch them together, my daughter standing on a stool, carefully pouring batter while Olivia guided her hand, both of them laughing at something. It felt like looking at a photograph of what my life was supposed to be. Dad! Emma spotted me and waved enthusiastically with the spatula, sending batter flying. Auntie Liv stayed over. She slept in the guest room, but she says she might be staying more often. Is that true? I moved into the kitchen, catching Olivia's eye. She looked nervous, uncertain of how much I wanted to share with Emma. That's right, kiddo, I said, dropping a kiss on top of Emma's head before turning to Olivia. In fact, Auntie Liv and I have something to tell you. Are you getting married for real? Emma asked excitedly. I heard you talking last night when I got up to get water. Olivia's eyes widened in alarm, but I just laughed. Not yet, but we are going to start dating. Do you know what that means?
Emma rolled her eyes with all the disdain a 7-year-old could muster. Duh, Dad. It means you like each other, and you're going to kiss and stuff. And how would you feel about that? Olivia asked carefully. Emma considered this for a moment, her little face serious. Will you still help me with my homework and watch movies with us and make the good mac and cheese? Of course I will, Olivia promised. Then it's okay, Emma declared, turning back to the pancakes as if the matter was settled. Over Emma's head, Olivia and I shared a look of relief, and something more, a promise, perhaps, of the future we might build together. The next few months were a period of adjustment for all of us. Olivia and I went on proper dates, dinner at restaurants that didn't have kids' menus, a weekend trip to the coast while Emma stayed with my parents, late nights talking about everything and nothing. But the most meaningful moments were often the ordinary ones. Grocery shopping together, helping Emma with homework, falling asleep on the couch while watching movies. 6 months after that fateful Tuesday, I took Olivia back to the college campus where we first met. We walked to the exact spot where she had spilled coffee on me 15 years earlier. Why are we here? She asked, looking around at the students rushing between classes, so much like we had been once. I took her hands in mine. Because this is where our story began, even if we didn't know it then. I dropped to one knee, pulling out the ring I'd been carrying for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. Olivia Harper, you've been my best friend, my support system, and the love of my life for longer than I even realized. You've helped me raise my daughter with more love and patience than I thought possible. Will you marry me? For real this time? Her hands flew to her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Yes, she whispered. Yes, 1,000 times yes. When we told Emma that night, she squealed with delight and immediately began planning the wedding, insisting that she needed to be the flower girl and the ring bearer because it's a very important job, Dad, and I'm the only kid who knows both of you really well. We were married the following spring in a small ceremony in my parents' backyard. Emma walked down the aisle before Olivia, scattering rose petals with such enthusiasm that she ran out halfway and had to improvise by tossing handfuls of grass instead. During our vows, Olivia looked directly at me and said, "I thought you'd never ask," making everyone who knew our story laugh through their tears. At the reception, Emma insisted on giving a speech. She stood on a chair, tapped her plastic cup of sparkling cider with a spoon, and announced to the entire gathering, "My dad used to be sad a lot, but Auntie Liv, Mom, made him happy again, and she makes the best mac and cheese and knows all about planets and never gets mad when I spill things, so I think Dad made a good choice." There wasn't a dry eye in the place. That night, after Emma had finally fallen asleep and Olivia and I were alone in our hotel room, I pulled her into my arms and whispered, "Thank you for waiting for me to figure it out."
She smiled up at me, her eyes shining with happiness. Some things are worth waiting for. It's been 2 years since that day, and our family has grown. Olivia gave birth to our son Nathan 6 months ago, and Emma is the proudest big sister you've ever seen. Our life isn't perfect. We argue about whose turn it is to do the dishes. Emma is going through a phase where she only wears purple, and Nathan seems allergic to sleeping through the night. But it's ours, and it's beautiful. Sometimes I think about how different things might have been if I hadn't made that joke about marriage, or if Olivia hadn't been brave enough to show her true feelings. One moment, one sentence changed everything. So that's my story. A joke that wasn't really a joke, a friendship that was always something more, and the family we built together. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that sometimes the love of your life has been standing right in front of you all along. You just need the courage to see it. If you've enjoyed this journey with us, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more of our adventures. Life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it, and I can't wait to share where our path leads.